Hi, you guys. My name is Casey Toms. I'm originally from Syracuse, New York, but once I moved out to Troy for school, I've kind of been staying there and getting a lot of local jobs in the area and everything. Um, but go to the next slide. Oops, there we go. So why I chose RPI was that it's a really comfortable size. So compared to other colleges that I visited, a lot of them had multiple bigger campuses that were constantly used. Where RPI, we kind of have all of our academics on one side of campus, residential halls on another. It's kind of like a really good fit. I always knew that I wanted to go into architecture. So RPI having a smaller school of architecture was also good for me. But this RPI is actually one of the only places that would allow me to do dance and architecture at the same time. For architecture, usually it's just like a rigorous program in any school that you go to, so it's kind of hard to be allowed to be able to do a sport on top of that. And another reason why I came to RPI was the Lighting Research Center. So that's just another branch off of the School of Architecture. That's awesome to me because not only like were you able to get your architecture education, but you could also branch off to different types of like lighting or acoustics. There's even some landscape architecture too, once you get up into your master's and everything. And also on top of it, I did receive the Rensselaer Medal when I was a junior in high school. So that was also a big thing for me. So architecture and lighting is kind of my main focus of what I want to go into here. So the School of Architecture is a 5-year program, like you've probably been told before. So right now I'm on track to get my bachelor's of architecture and also my master's in architectural science of lighting, all within my 5 years here at RPI. Usually you wouldn't have to do that. Usually you would be staying for an extra year of co-term. But due to the circumstances that I came in with a little extra transfer credits, I was able to get both my bachelor's and master's at the same time. But most of the classes that I do take is kind of trying to improve the everyday lighting systems and the uses that they're used, which is awesome, especially in the healthcare industry right now. There's a ton of job openings up just because of how much better the lighting needs to be and in those healthcare environments. So clubs and activities I'm involved in around campus. Of course, I'm an admissions ambassador. I'm also part of the National Society of Leadership and Success and the Association, American Institute of Architecture Students. Sorry about that. I'm also on the RPI dance team. I was captain there for about 3 years. It being my last year here, we kind of passed on the reins to someone else. I'm also part of the MPAC staff. So that giant building, I did a lot of work for them. And then I also got a job as being a YMCA wellness coach around the corner in Troy. Of course, right now, some of those jobs are put on hold just due to the fact of coronavirus. So the experience that I actually got my dance coach at RPI helped me get a job at the National Dance Alliance. It's one of the biggest dance companies in the world. They go around and teach at different colleges and high schools all throughout the nation. And then they have one of the largest nationals in Daytona, Florida, that actually our RPI dance team does go to. So I got a job there teaching, which is awesome. So I get to travel a lot. And then the other one I have is with De facto Global. So I basically revise construction plans for their upcoming renovations of their buildings in downtown Troy. So my next step in my plan here is to get done with my master's project. So basically, since I'm not able to do a lot of lighting product design because it's hard to get into the labs right now for my master's project and everything has to be online, I'm kind of looking into doing virtual reality and with architecture. So kind of being able to find new ways for people to experience new experiences while still being able to social distance and still being able to get through all this coronavirus and having a better teaching ability for people and students. That's kind of our main goal for my master's projects, just to deal with the whole coronavirus going on. And then just my future plans, of course, to finish my bachelor's and master's projects, so I'll be doing this upcoming semesters. Then I'll be graduating in May. And then from there, I'm hoping to work for a lighting firm and then eventually go into lighting product design. Since I have mainly an architecture background, it's a little harder just to go right into hardwiring electrical lighting products. So just learning through the ropes and everything. But that's the end. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask later.
So, hi guys, my name is Becca. Just a little bit about me. I'm a senior. I'm from Fair Lawn, New Jersey. And on Saturday, I'll be graduating with a degree in industrial management engineering. So I picked RPI. I mean, when I was in high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to be an engineer. So I was really looking for a school that had a strong STEM focus, a great reputation, and I wanted to continue my education somewhere where it was possible for me to continue playing lacrosse. So that's kind of how I found RPI, and it was the perfect place for me. So like I said, I came to RPI not really knowing which type of engineering I wanted to pursue. So I came in as an undeclared engineer, but by my sophomore year, after a little trial and error, I took a couple one-credit introductory classes so that I could kind of find my right path. And by sophomore year, I was able to declare as an industrial management engineer. You can see kind of the technical description of what an industrial engineer is, but the way I like to describe it is just kind of bridging the gap between machines and humans. So then these are some of the things I'm involved in on campus. I would say one of my favorite parts about RPI is campus involvement. At RPI, you really can tell that you have a campus full of very intelligent individuals, but everyone really is passionate about their own things. So there's definitely a space for everybody on campus. So you can see there, I'm an admissions ambassador. So I give tours, I answer the phones when you guys call RPI. I'm also a member of our women's lacrosse team. I'm the president of our student athlete advisory committee. I'm the head of fundraising for RPI's Relay for Life. I'm a women's mentor, and I was also a biology teaching assistant for 3 semesters. So just some of my work experience. During my the fall of my junior year, I went on co-op. So I worked from August to December for Philips, specifically in their healthcare division. This was a paid position. I was working in procurement, and I stayed in Albany, New York. And then next up, this was last summer. I had an opportunity to intern with Regeneron Pharmaceuticals. You might have heard of them. They're kind of been in the news recently. They're one of the companies that's kind of leading the way for a cure for COVID. So I'm really proud to have been a part of their organization last summer. But yeah, so last summer I was there. I was working in their automation department, making their systems more robust so that they can get drugs out faster. And that was also a paid position. And then kind of going into the future, like I said, on Saturday, I will officially be an RPI graduate, and I've already accepted a full-time position to be an operations engineer with W.L. Gore. So I'm going to be moving down to Delaware. And that's pretty much it for me. I hope that was helpful just to kind of give you guys a quick snippet of what 4 years at RPI has been like for me. And I'm absolutely willing to answer any questions.
Everyone, my name is Taniya, and I am currently a sophomore, rising junior now, majoring in industrial management engineering and mathematics. So, first things first, before I get into my slides, if you guys have any questions throughout my presentation, please type it in the chat box. I do have like a question slide in which I'll get to them and I'll answer them. So yeah, we're just gonna do a quick run through, and I'm just gonna be talking about my experience here at RPI and also what it has to offer. So picking back off a little bit of what Jessica already told you guys. So why RPI? I liked it and I chose it because the accelerated STEM programs, the teacher to student ratio, preparation for career path, and emphasis on academics. So in high school, I really liked math and science, and I was looking for a school that did really well in STEM programs, and RPI was the best fit. In addition to that, for teacher to student ratio, I came from a small school. So I kind of like fit right in when I went to RPI because there's roughly 7,000 to 8,000 people on campus, and that's undergrad and graduate in total. And then in addition to that, if you have general education classes such as like physics, chemistry, and mathematics, the teacher to student ratio is kind of large, but then what they do is they have recitations, which are like a meeting with your TA once every week, and it's maximum like 20 to 30 people. And basically it kind of like bridges that gap so you don't feel kind of like a statistic in the class, and makes it a lot smaller so that you're able to be personal with your TAs or your professors. Preparation for career path, Jessica already touched upon this as well. It's very, very great with job opportunities and getting out there past your years at RPI. So how we have the two career fairs every year, and then we also have internships and co-ops as well, always available. And then the fact that people already have full-time opportunities lined up for them before they even graduate, which is awesome. And then the emphasis on academics, everyone already knows. RPI has a really good reputation, and a lot of RPI grads come specifically to RPI to recruit people again, so that they can get into these great job opportunities. So for those of you who do not know what industrial management engineering and mathematics is, basically as an IME, you make things more efficient. So as of right now, we have a pandemic. I know a lot of you have probably ordered something through a shipping company. A lot of CEOs of those shipping companies are IMEs. But they actually don't go by the name of industrial management engineers. Sometimes they're manufacturing engineers. Sometimes they're lean quality assurance engineers. So they do go under different names, and it's very versatile. And not only that, but you can go into consulting as well. You can go into manufacturing as well. So you can do just about anything. And then I also decided to do a major in mathematics because I really loved it. And it also helps you apply concepts so that you can solve things better. So let's go into the clubs and activities. So these are the list of clubs and activities that I am a part of. There are over 200 clubs that are at RPI, and we have like an $8 million budget. So if you feel like you do not fit into any of those clubs, you and two other people can create them, create one yourself. So let's just go down the list of the stuff that I'm a part of. I'm a part of the Black Students Alliance, which is kind of like a social club. And then for Black History Month, we have really good events such as the fashion show, which anyone can audition for. Students are models. And then we also have this open mic night as well, in which we invite other clubs to showcase any work that they have, or any like music such as the Rensselaer, or any students who have like poetry that they want to showcase to anyone. So it's a really good opportunity. I'm also part of the National Society of Black Engineers, which we have conferences as well. I am the co-director for the Nesby Shep Career Fair, which is National Society of Black Engineers and Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. And it's the largest student-run career fair in the nation. We have over 200 companies and 2,000 students come every year, and it is specifically to RPI students only. And then we also have the Institute for Industrial Engineers, which also have conferences, and they're always sending job opportunities for people to take advantage of. Part of the Women in Business Club, in which they teach you stuff such as how to invest or financial literacy, which is really great. And also UPAC Lights and Sound, which is a club that you can shadow during NRB Navigating Rensselaer and Beyond, which I did my freshman year. And basically you can go backstage with them and see how they set up stuff for certain events, which is really cool. So some on-campus experience that I have as of right now. My freshman year, I did a work study at Res Life, which is awesome. If you get locked out, or if you have any questions about like dorm life and stuff like that, you can definitely go to them. I am an admissions ambassador, so you guys may see me walking around doing tours on campus, talking about why I love it so much. I'm also part of ALAC. I'm in LA. I will be in LA next semester. And ALAC is a really, really good resource for you guys to use, especially your freshman year, because they do help you transition from high school to freshman year of college. And basically they have tutors in which you can just drop in, and any hours that they have listed. They usually have a website. And if you have any questions, those are people who did well in the class and they want to teach it back to underclassmen. So that's definitely a resource that I advise you to take advantage of. And then I'm also part of the I Persist mentoring program, which you guys are already going to be in as a freshman. And like I said before, you have recitations, but also for those general ed classes, you also have mentors, which are upperclassmen, and they also go over topics that you learned in class and sometimes give you quizzes to make sure that you're staying on track. And that's a perfect time to ask them questions as well. I'm also part of the women's mentoring program, which you could also start off as a freshman. They usually email you within the summer that you're coming onto campus, and they basically set you up with a mentor so that they'll get you acclimated and you already have a connection with someone before you even step on campus. So yeah, off-campus experience. Since I'm a sophomore, I actually am doing an internship and it's starting next week. I'm glad that it's remote. And basically, I will be doing supply chain and manufacturing operations at Gore, which is a really good IME company, and I'm going to be working on Elixir guitar strings. So basically, what I'll be doing is using the FlexSim software, and I'll be doing stuff such as organizing what is it, how to build like new machines, when we need to build new machines, what step in the process is a bottleneck. And for those of you who do not know what the term bottleneck means, it means something that delays a process, such as, for example, if you have a morning routine and you're singing in the shower for too long, that's obviously going to delay you getting ready. So that would be your bottleneck. And then in addition to that, organization conferences, as I said, I'm part of a NESB. So we do have 2 conferences each year. And that is just a picture of us winning the chapter award for RPI. And then for future plans, so I will be starting my internship at Gore. Hopefully, when we get back on campus in fall, we'll have the 42nd annual NESB Chef Career Fair. And then I'll be graduating in May 2022 with my dual major.
Hi, Ulysses. Hi, Melissa. Hello, everyone who's watching. My name's Tahira. I am a chemical engineering student at Rensselaer in the class of 2021. And I'm just going to be telling you about myself as if I were giving you a tour around campus, which we're not able to do. So I am from Goodyear, Arizona. That's where I am right now. And I went to a liberal arts charter school for high school. Really small graduating class. We had 36 people. And going to my high school, I already had like a built-in set of friends from 7th grade and up. We were the first graduating class at our school. And I always focused a lot on my chemistry, physics, and biology and math classes. Those are the ones I had the most fun in. So I knew after high school I wanted to go into something STEM related, and chemistry was my favorite subject, so I chose to go into chemical engineering. More about that in the next slide. And then why I chose RPI, I visited in November of my senior year, and I got to visit campus in the fall, see all the colors of the leaves changing, and just kind of feel very welcome there. I stayed with a freshman chemical engineer at the time and slept in her dorm, and she introduced me to all her friends, and we all just stayed up talking. They were just telling me about their lives in college and their backgrounds and things until like 2 o'clock in the morning, even though we had to go to her class at 10 o'clock in the morning. But I do that now with my friends when I'm at school. And I also came for the rigor of the curriculum. I knew I did not want to be bored at all, and wanted to go somewhere that was going to challenge me and push me to my fullest potential. And like I just said, amazing and encouraging faculty, staff, and students. That picture right there is of all my friends on freshman year. We were sitting on the hill outside of MPAC, which is our Performing Arts Center, and it was 92 degrees in May, a couple weeks before we all went home, so we decided to take a little picture in the sun. And then preparing for college. So this picture on the left, the weird drawing, was from my experience at the National Student Leadership Conference in DC at American University, where I did a biotechnology program for the summer, and that was the summer after junior year, I believe. In that program, I wanted to do something either space related, because I was very interested in space at the time, or chemistry related, but biotechnology was the only one that kind of piqued my interest for the programs that were being offered at that time. And one of our group projects was to just invent something. So we came up with this water filter / power source, which is funnily enough now what I'm interested in to do in the future. And I drew this at the time. We had this, the idea was to have like a river flowing through this motor that would also spin the wheel, and then that power generated from the wheel and the solar panels would go to a house or a city. We were 15 years old, 15, 16, so it didn't really make sense at the time, but the concept is what matters. So that kind of got me interested in chemical engineering, because filtration and energy are one of the many fields that chemical engineers can contribute to. And then on the right side is a picture of the Dome at MIT, which is a program I was in my senior year of high school, the MIT Online Science, Technology, and Engineering Community. I did an astrophysics program with them, and I got to meet a lot of cool friends from across the country and stay in contact with them and just kind of be involved in a community. It was very supportive and encouraging for all of us to go follow our dreams and basically get into STEM. And I met Ulysses at the conference, the career fair, the college fair that was happening at that conference. And then the other things I did in high school while I was actually in school, not during the summer, I was captain of the varsity girls basketball team for 2 years, MVP all 3 years that I played during high school. I was also in chemistry club and I was in the chamber music club. I was also doing yearbook and a bunch of other things. But I definitely had all these things on my RPI application. So as Ulysses said earlier, make sure to put the things down that you're passionate about. I was definitely passionate about all of these things and had a lot of fun doing them. And then now at RPI, 6 semesters in to graduating next year with my bachelor's degree, and some of the coursework and classes that I've had along the way. One of my favorite, these are all the favorite ones that I've taken so far. Transport Phenomena, I took Transport Phenomena 1, I took over the summer during the Arch program. And then Transport Phenomena 2, I took in the fall. And the picture on the right side was just one of my notes from the day. We were learning about convective heat transfer, which is like if you have an object, it needs to be cooled off or heated by some air or something blowing around it or fluid flowing around it. So those are some cool notes from that day. And then on the left side is a picture from my Modern Techniques in Chemistry lab. I don't remember exactly what we were doing that day, but being in lab is a lot of fun. There's a lot of labs at RPI, so whenever you have the chance to take a lab class, even if you're a computer science major, you have to take biology or chemistry, definitely take the lab. I always had a lot of fun in there. And then other courses that are mandatory for me to take was differential equations, which is calculus, but stepped up to just doing derivatives all the time. There is not a day that goes by at school where I don't have to take a derivative, so that class was very, very useful. And then also as an engineering elective, I have taken statistical analysis, so I could just learn how to model data and analyze data. And then in the fall, I will be taking chemical reactor design. I'm going to have a chemical engineering lab course, a little bit like modern techniques in chemistry, but more focused on the engineering side. So I'm very excited about those classes. And there's a ton of classes that you can take that aren't related to your major. If you want to minor in something, I almost did a minor in psychology. I might still, but we'll see. But you can minor in psychology. You can get a minor in the business department. You can mix and match basically whatever you want your RPI experience to be like academically. And those will also go towards your humanities requirement for your degree. And then some other things I do on campus when I'm not in class. I am a tour guide. Rensselaer Admissions Ambassador is a fancy name, but we just call ourselves tour guides. I am also in the National Society of Black Engineers, also known as NSBE. On the right side is a picture of me and our president from the past year. We won an award at the Region 1 conference in Niagara Falls, which happened in November. And we were the chapter of the fall, so that was pretty exciting. And last year I was the kind of outreach chairperson, so I helped coordinate events for little kids that were coming to visit RPI for the day, doing different engineering programs to kind of get them interested in the STEM field, and also volunteering events like the trash pickup I did in October. And this year I'm going to be the secretary, so I'm still staying involved in NSBE. I've also been a mentor for the Women at Rensselaer mentoring program. I had 3 mentees this past year, and they always ask for help with homework if they need any information about school at all or where to find something on campus. I'm the one that can help them out with that, and I just made sure that they can transition smoothly to RPI. And I am also on the staff for the NSBE and SHEP Career Fair. Ulysses mentioned that earlier. One of the two career fairs that we put on, one of the two career fairs that RPI puts on. The one in the fall is run by completely students, so I am on the staff for that this year. And I was on it last year. And so as part of the ARCH program, which I was the first class to participate in that mandatorily, I had class from summer last year and fall of last year to do junior year in those 2 semesters. And then starting in January, I had the spring semester off to pursue an internship opportunity. So I chose to come back home to Arizona, and I was offered an volunteering internship position for the Water Resource Management Department for the city of Surprise, which is a couple miles away from my home. So I got to live at home, and I got to learn about water treatment and wastewater treatment, all the different types of engineering that goes into that. And I had my own project as well. So the little picture with the little diagram on it is a picture of the control panel for the generator that makes chlorine at the plant. So my project was focused on seeing if they should continue using that machine to generate chlorine or just buy chlorine from a manufacturer. So every day I got to go outside, be in the sun and warmth, and go take readings for the instruments I was measuring to gather data for my project, and look through a lot of paper, asking other people questions about what was going on before I got there, because I was only there for a couple of months, and their thoughts for the system, and I got to present that to them over WebEx after I had to come back home, and they really enjoyed my work, so that was a lot of fun. And then last slide for me, but my future. I mentioned a little while ago, I'm interested in the water filtration or renewable energy industries, leaning a little bit more to renewable energy, because that's what I think the world needs right now. A lot of what the world needs right now because of climate change. But my kind of future track is spring of next year, graduating with my bachelor's degree in chemical engineering. Summer of next year, hopefully an internship somewhere. And then the fall of next year, I would like to stay at RPI 1 extra year as part of the co-term program. And I've settled my mind on mechanical engineering. Yesterday I was very bored, and I went through all of the mechanical engineering master's courses that are offered, and kind of narrowed down which classes I wanted to take that would be useful to me in the future, and the ones that could also overlap with chemical engineering, so I didn't have to take a lot of prerequisites for those. So we'll be staying at RPI an extra year, graduating with my master's in mechanical engineering in spring 2022. And I made this presentation a couple weeks ago and have since changed my mind. At the time, I'm set on pursuing a PhD, most likely in materials science, materials engineering. So I guess that kind of counts as beginning my career in the water filtration industry and or renewable energy industry. But right now, I'm set on getting a PhD, so looking forward to that in the future.
So right here are a few things about me. So I actually just finished my junior year here at RPI just this past week. I'm studying mechanical engineering. Some things I'm involved in on campus are the Society of Women Engineers, Greek Life, Wenzi. That's a club on campus, and we raise money for these communities in Africa. In Malawi, I believe that's the name of the country, surrounding communities in there. So that's super fun. We just raise money for it. And then I'm involved in ski and snowboard club. I also did participate in the summer arch program, so I'll talk a little bit about that later on and give you guys my personal experience. So first of all, I chose RPI for many different reasons. The main one being it's a comfortable size, it's STEM focused, hands-on learning. I don't think I had a video in there, but it's not popping up. It looks blank right here, but that was just a video of my introduction to engineering design project. So in that class, you design something with a group of different other engineers. And so my group, we decided to create this apparatus that would draw test phone cases. So we built a wooden tripod, and we dropped them from the top of it, recorded the force and pressure hit the ground with. It was really cool, and we got to like work in the shop and stuff. So I really enjoyed the hands-on aspect of RPI. I also love the surrounding area, so that's a little picture of me skiing. So yeah, so the ski and snowboard club, they'll organize trips and stuff and take us up to mountains in Vermont. We tend to go to Killington and Okemo. And I just loved even just the downtown Troy area. I love just like the different foods, the different options down there and stuff. And being so close to a city like Albany is awesome too. So all those things were reasons why I wanted to go to Rensselaer. Oh, here we go. So why did I pick mechanical engineering? Well, again, it's very hands-on. In the top right, that's the tripod I made for Introduction to Engineering Design. Here's some other, these are all pictures I took in class. So I took embedded control, and that I had to build a circuit board. In your first year, during your freshman year, a lot of students take this class called processes, where you work in a metal shop and you create a cannon or a train, I believe, out of aluminum. So the middle picture is right from that. It's a lathe that I used. So that was my first time ever using one. That was pretty awesome. Ooh. And then a tensile testing machine. So I really just loved, like, the reason why I chose mechanical engineering was I knew I wanted to be an engineer. I loved like the math and sciences. I definitely enjoy like creativity and stuff. So I knew I wanted some type of problem solving major. And I loved how mechanical is very versatile. Like, as you can see, I've definitely got to experience different things like building circuits, building like more so mechanical parts and stuff like that. So I really, because I wasn't sure what I wanted to go into, I wanted to get a broad understanding of everything. And that's just a little quote I like about engineering. Engineers like to solve problems. If there are no problems handily available, they will create their own problems. So I threw that right in there. Right here, these are some pictures from my summer arch experience. So this was last summer. I really enjoyed it. Again, there's a lot of things to do around in the Troy area, like I mentioned before. So my friends and I, we went to a hot air balloon festival. We went whitewater rafting. That was actually organized through the school, so that was very awesome. So they took us there on a school bus. So even if you don't have a car on campus, there's still ways to go and do fun stuff. We went to Lake George, the farmers market every single weekend. We go to downtown Troy on Saturday, and we would go. They have an outdoors farmers market with food from local places. Everyone usually brings their dogs down there so you can pet them. It's a lot of fun and stuff. And then that picture with the coffee and the food, that's from one of the little cafes in downtown Troy that I really love and enjoy. I'm a big fan of coffee, so I always like to go down there and study. So after, for my summer arch away semester, I was away in the fall, and I actually got a really cool co-op at Medtronic in Littleton, Massachusetts. So I worked in their program management department, and what was nice about that was I got to see all aspects of engineering. So I assisted them with documentation, helped them create project management tools. They had me managing like Excel, spreadsheets, things like that. But I also got to gain experience in research and development, so that was really awesome. And so their main product, you can see in the picture right there, is the O-arm. So it's basically this, it's, it's just like an X-ray device they use actually during surgery, so it can be minimally invasive. And it's like a circle, and it goes around the patient. It opens up and closes back around them and stuff. So I got to like, they had me at one point. I got to test software for that device, so that was really cool. I also got to develop some work instructions for that, and for that it was the installation of a power tray inside the O-arm. So that was really awesome because I got to see the parts inside it and get a better understanding of how it worked. So really, it was a great experience, and I'm really thankful that this for the summer arch, because I wouldn't have probably gotten this opportunity. They actually weren't. They didn't normally do fall internships, but because they like needed the extra help and were looking for someone, that's how I got it. So that was really awesome. It was one of those things that just worked out, and I really enjoyed it and learned a lot. And just a little bit about what I kind of want to do in the future. So actually, even though I'm studying mechanical engineering, I've found from being at Rensselaer and I actually took computer science 1 my sophomore year. I found that I really had an interest in it. So I'm actually going to try to pursue a minor in computer science at RPI, which is nice because it's very easy to add on to my major, which is awesome. And working with, I'm going to go to like our advisors and talk to them about it in the fall to officially declare the minor. But that is my goal before I graduate, is to have a minor in computer science. I've decided just from like the experience I've had in classes and from the co-op that I definitely want to work in robotics after graduation. hopefully sometime in the future pursue a master's in computer science or computer systems engineering. And I've realized from all the things I've learned that I think my dream job would probably be to be the head of software engineering. So that's a little bit about myself and my time at Rensselaer.
My name is Kate, and I am now not a sophomore anymore. I just finished up my sophomore year a couple days ago, so I'm a rising junior. And the question, why RPI? So for me, there are just three main things, and I'll go into them a bit. So it's a perfect size for me, since it's a medium-sized university. I really didn't want like a really small school or a huge like public university. And this is definitely the perfect size. Like I can walk on campus and see my friends, see friendly faces everywhere, and especially everything that I'm involved in, which I'll go into a bit later on in this presentation. It's just really great just meeting everyone, and I've definitely had like very close friendships from this like just the size of the school. And second, definitely the STEM focus. I am studying biomedical engineering, so I knew this would be the best place for me to come to study biomedical engineering. And I've had a great experience so far with my professors, TAs, and everything that I have learned here. And it's definitely the best decision I've made for what I want to do with my future. And I am from Brooklyn, New York, so it's close but not too close to home. I really wanted to go away for college, so I didn't really want to stay too close to home. But it's nice because, like Daniel was saying earlier on, you can always go to New York City or Boston or a few cities nearby with like a bus or a train. So I can always like go home on weekends if I want, and it's definitely the perfect fit for me. So I'm really happy here. And next, I'm just gonna kind of talk briefly about biomedical engineering and why I chose it and what made me choose it. So, biomedical engineering closes the gap between engineering and medicine and combines the design and problem-solving skills of engineering with medical biological sciences to advance healthcare treatment. So I really wanted to do biomedical engineering because am very interested in being involved in the healthcare industry, but I also wanted to be on the engineering side of it. So I have a great interest in orthopedic medical devices. That's really what I want to do in the future. And biomedical engineering just seems like the great major for me, and I've loved all my classes so far. And we also have the Center for Biotechnology and Interdisciplinary Studies, which we just like to call CBIS. We have a lot of acronyms here at RPI. But I actually do research here, and there's a ton of great opportunities here. It's a building just for research, and it's a really cool building if you ever come and visit. It's definitely it's like a new building, and it's definitely worth seeing. And we actually have 5 concentrations in biomedical engineering. So my concentration is in biomechanics, and we actually used to have only 3 concentrations. So there were biomechanics, biomaterials, bioimaging, but then we added on 2 more. So we have medical devices now and biomedical data science, which is really cool because if anyone is interested in biomedical engineering, our we are one of the few majors where we can have this concentration and really hone into exactly what we want to do in the future, which is really cool. And just going into some clubs and activities that I'm a part of. So the second I came to RPI, I knew I wanted to get involved right away, and it's the best decision I've made because I've made amazing friends, and it's definitely made my experience so great, and I definitely recommend getting as involved as you can where you choose to go to college. So I'm an admissions ambassador here, so that's why I'm here right now. I love the school, and I try to advocate all the great things about it. And I'm also involved in Greek life. So as Daniel said, about 25% of the student population is involved in Greek life. So it's not like no one forces you to do it, and but it's a great experience. I've met amazing people through it. And I'm also involved in undergraduate research, which I'll go into in the next slide. But I got involved my sophomore year, so this year, second semester. But you can get involved as early as your second semester, freshman year, and it has been a great experience. And yeah, I'll go into that a bit later. And I'm also involved in the Society of Women Engineers. So I'm very involved in this. I'm like on the executive board. It offers a lot of opportunities for women to feel like they're included on campus, studying STEM, studying engineering, and it's a great professional organization that I'm very happy I joined. I was able to go to a national conference in California last fall, actually, through Society of Women Engineers. We call it SWE for short, but it's definitely been a great experience getting involved in there. And also, I am involved in dance on campus. So my freshman year, I joined the dance team, and I had to take a year off because I got injured, but I'm planning on coming back. But it has been super fun, and as Daniel said, there's also a ton of other clubs and sports, club sports or intramural sports that you can join on campus, and you definitely won't have trouble finding something you're passionate about on campus. And just going into what I do for my undergraduate research. So I am involved in the Innovative Medical Devices Laboratory at RPI. So this is through the Biomedical Engineering Department. So I started research my second semester of sophomore year, so January actually. So working on the development of smart orthopedic implants. And my lab team, the focus is working on novel implantable wireless technology, and also the focus is on translational orthopedic biomechanics and medical device design. And what was really cool was that this lab is very connected with companies like Smith & Nephew, Stryker, which are medical device companies. So definitely undergraduate research was one of the best decisions I made, and I've learned so much. It was a little bit unfortunate that my time actually in the lab got cut short, but I was able to complete some of my research remotely. And going into the next slide, this is actually a picture of my lab team. This is our last lab meeting on WebEx, but I got to work with a lab team full of incredible individuals from all different backgrounds. So mechanical engineering, biomedical engineering, electrical engineering, and the professor that I work with, Dr. Ladette. He is a great professor in the biomedical engineering department, and he's definitely a mentor. And it's just great always being surrounded by, there were like 4 seniors involved in the lab team, and they're moving on to amazing things like getting their PhDs at Duke, and some are, moving to Miami to start a full-time job. And it's just really great what RPI grads are doing, which is inspiring. And finally, so my plans for the future. So I'm going to be doing summer arch because I'm hoping to get a co-op in the spring in 2021. So I definitely want to work at some kind of medical device company, like Stryker or Smith & Nephew. So I'm really hoping to get a co-op in the spring. And I'm also looking into getting a master's. So I'm really considering doing the co-terminal program here at RPI, which Daniel mentioned previously, like earlier in the presentation. It's an opportunity to get your master's in a year. You can do it in your 5th year, but also you can even start. I know people who start because they graduate early, and you can start as early as like your 4th year on campus, like start taking master's classes. So graduate level classes, which is great because it's, just moving on faster. And just finally, I hope to work full-time as a biomedical engineer, and I know that definitely my time at RPI will prepare me for that. I have had an amazing experience. The faculty truly cares about you, and I don't think I would have gotten the same experiences elsewhere. And I'm very fortunate to go here, and I have great friends from everything I'm involved in. And even with, our current situation with COVID, RPI did a great job transitioning to online classes and taking care of the students. Professors were constantly, asking and reaching out how the students are doing, how they're handling things. So I definitely have enjoyed my time here at RPI. And now I see some questions in the chat box, so I'll just try to answer them.
So my name is Rija, and I'm part of the class of 2022. So I just finished up my sophomore year, and I'm going to be a junior in the fall. I chose RPI for a few different reasons. The first one is it's academically well known. I live 15 minutes away from RPI, and I've always grown up knowing how good of a school it is and how people place well-paying jobs after they graduate. It's also close to home for me, but even if it was like an hour away, I'd still consider that close to home. And it also, for me, had the perfect student size. I know some people prefer to go to a bigger school with more people. Others prefer like a smaller school, but I wanted to be somewhere that had like a kind of average number of students, where you have some lectures, but then you also have some in-person classroom type classes. So if you look at those two pictures, they're both of me. The one on the left is Accepted Students Day, my year, so that was March 2018. So I went to visit RPI to see the campus, and I feel like that's one of the best ways to figure out if you should commit to a school. It's hard to know because academically most schools are doing well, but when you finally set foot on the campus is when you actually are able to tell, like, yes, I belong here. I should be here. So I went to Accepted Students Day and I took some pictures. RPI is on a hill, if you guys don't know. So you can see the city of Troy behind me. On the right is a picture of me on Decision Day, so May 1st, 2018. I'm in the Accelerated Science, Technology, and Society Law program. So I'm going to be at RPI for 3 years, so one more year after this, and then I go to law school. And if you guys don't know what it is, science and technology studies is the study of how society, politics, and culture affect scientific research and technological innovation, and how these in turn affect society, politics, and culture. So I know RPI is known for like its STEM side, math and science, and I basically study how whatever we create with math and science impacts society, and the other way around as well. This department is smaller, obviously, but we have a great network. I know a lot of people from Albany Law School who can help me out with the process, and obviously, like my advisor is really helpful with like the whole process as well. And going to a STEM school again, I feel like I have had a good amount of education when it comes to like patent law. So that's probably going to be what I'm going to study in law school. I'm not sure yet, but it'll probably be that. On campus, I'm an admissions ambassador, which is a fancy way of saying I'm a tour guide. So if you guys have any questions about like living on campus, Greek life, things like that, clubs, you can obviously ask me them. I'm involved in Greek life as well. This upcoming year, I'm going to be a learning assistant or an LA. So if you guys don't know, each freshman building has a building-wide RD, which is your resident director. And then each floor has their own RA, a resident assistant. And, they're the people you go to if you, lock yourself out of your room by accident or something. But each building also has a building-wide learning assistant, which is someone, a student who lives there, and they can always help you out with your academic side at RPI because, it's not the transition from high school to college is a big one, and sometimes students are having difficulty with that. So in LA is someone you can always go to, and they can kind of point you in the right direction. Like if you're having trouble with a certain class, you don't really know where to go to get extra help, you can ask them and they can point you to ALAC or something. I'm also part of RPI Aeronautical, which is a Bollywood fusion dance team. We straddle the line between a club and a sport. A club in terms of funding, and then a sport in terms of reserving rooms for practice and so on. So if you guys have questions about clubs or sports, you can also ask me those. And I'm also part of the Rensselaer Pre-Law Association. So I'm a rising junior, so I haven't done arch yet, and I actually don't do arch because I'm exempt from it. But I did intern at the Rensselaer Plateau Alliance this spring, actually. And basically, the Rensselaer Plateau Alliance is a nonprofit organization in Rensselaer County. I actually interned there for a class. It was part of like a class assignment to intern at a specific place for 75 hours. It was a specific thing for my major. And what I did was I helped out with office work. It gave me more background knowledge on legal work because that's what I want to go into. So it helped me out with that, and obviously went towards class credit and helped my resume. Hopefully, after my junior year, I'll be able to get some paid internships and co-ops. But if you guys have questions about that, or like the arch semester away, things like that. You can also ask me those. I'm a tour guide. Like I said, I know a lot of random things. So my plans, my future plans is to finish my final year at RPI. So this next year is going to be my last year at RPI. And then hopefully I'm going to go to law school and then get my law degree and, start working somewhere. So yeah, thank you guys so much.
Everyone, I'm Cassie Smith. I'm a senior aeronautical engineering student from the great state of New Jersey, and I'm really excited to tell you all about my RPI experience. I will save all questions till the end, but please ask away. I'm here to answer anything you could possibly think of. So let's get started. Okay. So why did I pick RPI? I knew throughout college and throughout high school my whole life that I really liked STEM options such as math and science. I actually really thought that I wanted to major in applied math and applied physics. No one told me that that was engineering. So I was really grateful that RPI had so many options for me, whether it be the math and physics and science route or the engineering route. I decided to go the engineering route, and I'm just so thankful that I did have other options. I really liked the location. I wanted a smaller school, not in the center of a city, and RPI is just located above small city of Troy, and it's about 3 hours away from my house, which is convenient because it's not too long to get there, but also people don't just stop by and visit me throughout the semester. I really liked when I went to campus how everyone really prioritized their academics. Everyone was really excited to learn, and that's what I wanted in my college experience. Also, when I visited, I saw so many different clubs and opportunities I wanted to be a part of that I am now a part of because I'm at RPI, and I just thought that I could really have some fun and learn a lot while I was at RPI. And finally, the financial aid package was very generous to my family, and they were understanding and actually worked with us when I had to appeal. And so I would really recommend talking with the financial aid department as they are there to help you. And these are just some pictures of when I visited campus before I was a student. So this is back in like 2015. So some old pictures, but campus pretty much looks the same. Okay. So as I mentioned, I'm an aeronautical engineering major. I got my inspiration from just the popular movies of Top Gun, and now Top Gun 2 is supposed to come out, but fingers crossed we'll see it soon. Just the mission of Apollo 11 and all the Apollo missions, really. But also, I grew up with the Mars exploration rovers, Spirit and Opportunity. Rest in peace to both of them. But I was growing up while they were roaming around on Mars, and I just thought that was the coolest thing. And once I learned that aeronautical engineers helped create these rovers, I knew that that's what I wanted to study so that I could do that too. On campus, I have taken a lot of classes. I am a senior, but I'm graduating in December, so I have 2 more to go for my degree. So these are just some of the classes that I've taken and that I just finished up this last semester that I'm really excited about. Space vehicle design was my capstone course for actually designing a space vehicle. We designed a CubeSat to rendezvous with Apophis, the asteroid that is kind of nearby Earth, which is a really cool project. Space flight mechanics was teaching me orbital mechanics, which was useful in my capstone course. Propulsion systems really taught me how to analyze rockets and other airplane engines. Numerical design optimization was a lot of fun, and I learned how to optimize different systems and analyze them, such as the amusement park ride, the Tilt-A-Whirl. I actually modeled that and got to see how it worked in the math side of things, not just at the amusement park, which was awesome. And then finally, my fluid dynamics laboratory, which is a class where you go into our wind tunnel and you just run different experiments and tests and get to see the flow visualization over different airfoils or over different materials. We looked at different airplane models too in there. But I actually had to do that class this past semester during our online. So it was really cool to see how RPI and our wind tunnel adapted to being able to do it online. So we would still meet at our regular scheduled time, and we would watch a wind tunnel test and then actually work with the real data from that experiment. On campus, I'm in a leadership program called LEAP, which is Leadership Educators Advising Peers. We teach experimental education and different activities to other clubs on campus. So it's a lot of low and high ropes course type of stuff. And so that's been a program I've been involved with since freshman year that I'm really excited about. I'm also in the pep band. This fall will be my 4th year in the pep band, which is really exciting because I love the band. I play the sousaphone, as you can see. And 1 year I was the manager. The band is my favorite thing, so ask questions all about it. I'll answer all of them. And I'm also an admissions ambassador, so I get to give tours and get to talk to you all about my RPI experience. 2 springs ago, in spring 2018, I co-opted at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California. This is my dream job, and it was absolutely awesome and just unbelievable to get this co-op experience. I moved out to California from January to around August or so, and I worked on the Mars helicopter, which is what I'm pointing to in that one image. And the Mars helicopter is actually launching with the Mars 2020 rover in July. So I'm actually hoping to go down to Florida at the Cape and watch the launch. And so we'll see if that happens still, but really exciting that I was able to continue on with this project even after I left. They're still inviting me to the launch and things. My co-op experience was really awesome. I actually got this experience through RPI. JPL recruits from RPI for RPI students every fall. They come onto campus in October, and we have a couple info sessions and then on-campus interviews. So I was selected for an on-campus interview, and then after that I had a couple of phone interviews, and then I was offered the job. It was just absolutely awesome. And I got to go on some hikes. I'm sporting some RPI spirit wear on that hike. You have to. Last summer, I also went back to JPL and I interned again just for the summer this time. And I was on a Comet Rendezvous design team. So I was just designing the entire spacecraft, which really helped prepare me for my capstone experience. I also did some other technological studies on different parts and hardware. Looking forward, this summer, I will be interning again at JPL. I unfortunately will not be traveling out there, but they are giving me the option to telework, which I'm really grateful for. So I'll be in great New Jersey and teleworking. I will then graduate RPI in December. I'm really looking forward to my last fall semester and my last couple of football and ice hockey games with the pep band. I'm then going to be applying to master's programs and full-time employment to eventually be a full-time engineer to work in space hardware. So let me get to the questions, but feel free to ask.
Everyone, my name is Kaylin Edwards. I'm a junior biology major on campus, and I'm just going to talk to you a little bit today kind of about my journey to RPI and what I've done on campus since then. Okay, so in terms of going through the college application process, there were a couple things I was really looking for. So I grew up in a small rural community in southern New Jersey, and my high school had about 300 or so graduating seniors. So I wasn't looking for a huge college. I think RPI honestly checked the box for me in size in a perfect way. We are considered a medium-sized school, but I kind of like to, I guess, quantify that by saying that I can walk across campus and see 3 familiar faces or 3 of my friends, but at the same time, I can meet someone new every single day based on different courses I've taken. Every semester, I've been able to meet someone new regardless, which is really great. So definitely friend groups overlap, and you'll make weird connections between who knows who on campus, but at the same time, not everyone knows everyone. So like I said, I really think it's a good middle ground in that sense. I was definitely looking for a very strong STEM school, and again, RPI checked that box really well for me. I think another big thing I was looking at was to make sure that I had a backup plan. So as I said, I am a biology major, but if for some reason I discovered that biology wasn't my thing, or if I discovered a whole new interest while I was at RPI, I wanted to make sure that it would be in the roundabout field I was looking at, right? So I didn't really apply to many liberal arts schools because I had kind of ruled out that larger group of schools in the beginning and knew I wanted to go more of the STEM direction. But also from there, I can say that RPI was a comfortable distance from home. So I was about 3.5 hours from campus. My parents actually moved down to North Carolina the summer after my freshman year, so it is a little bit further away for sure now, but like I said, it was a good distance that if I needed something, I could go home, but at the same time, my parents couldn't just surprise me on a whim and come visit. So that was another aspect I was taking into account. Other than that, the reason why I decided to major in biology mainly is because I have a twin sister at home. She actually has cerebral palsy, so she's unable to walk on her own and is in a power wheelchair. So essentially, the part of your brain that controls fine motor skills and your ability to walk wasn't given enough oxygen at birth. So that is unfortunately why the portion of Jillian's brain didn't develop fully, but it is essentially the main inspiration as to why I decided to major in biology. From an RPI standpoint, I was really impressed by our Center for Biotech and Interdisciplinary Studies. This building was anonymously donated to campus, and it is solely used for research on campus, which is really neat. So I've actually been able to do some research on osteoarthritis in the building this semester, and really get my feet wet in one of the labs on campus, which is really cool. Otherwise, too, I was really pleasantly surprised by how strong the physician scientist program was. Even though we are known as an engineering school, our School of Science is very strong as well. So I can, confirm that just because I'm not an engineer does not mean that I'm still not receiving a very high quality education at Rensselaer. A little bit about what I'm involved in on campus. So I am an admissions ambassador. That's why I'm with all of you today. So I give campus tours and help out with some of our virtual sessions we've been having since COVID-19. I am involved with Greek life, like I mentioned, some undergrad research, the women's mentoring program, as well as some intramural sports. So I do like to always say that Greek life is something that I never anticipated joining before coming to Rensselaer, but something that I'm so happy I decided to jump into a little blindly. But I think Greek life at RPI definitely has more of a technical kind of philanthropy focus to it. It's not the same as Greek life that you'd see in the movies or in the media per se. I really think a big reason why I decided to join Greek life in the first place is because of the sisterhood and brotherhood and just the bond that you have with students as in the support system you have, as well as the philanthropy based aspect to it. Otherwise, the Women's Mentoring Program is a great program for all incoming female students on campus. You get paired up with an upperclassman student, and they're just kind of a good point of contact to have your first couple weeks coming to RPI, and they can help to show you the ropes a little bit from a female perspective. Other than that, I have played a handful of intramural sports, both through my sorority and just with some friends. I actually got dragged into playing intramural ice hockey a year ago, so last spring semester. Definitely way out of my comfort zone. I've never played hockey before, but super neat experience to say the least. So a little bit about sort of my experience outside of Rensselaer, but still within my major of interest. So I actually participated in Rensselaer's Summer Arch program. So to reiterate, I was on campus the summer between my sophomore and junior year. So I was on campus last summer. Basically, I took all of my fall courses over the summer with just my cohort on campus. And that allowed me to have either the fall or the spring semester off to seek an internship opportunity, a co-op. There's a number of things you could do, but I did choose to go the internship route. And I actually interned at First House of the Carolinas. They are a nonprofit hospital down here in North Carolina. I shadowed some doctors and surgeons in the OR. I spent some time in the lab and helped them with different clinical trials, as well as helped them develop one of their telehealth on-the-go mobile apps, which actually is coming in handy a lot right now, again, because of COVID-19. But this internship experience was really made possible for me because of the Arch. And I can say it's one of the main driving factors that has really inspired me to apply to medical school. So it's really neat to say the least. I can also say that the summer semester during for Arch, so last summer when I was on campus, that is hands down my favorite semester since I've been at RPI. On paper, I know it might not sound too fun to go to school over the summer, but I had an absolute blast. There's so much more you can take advantage of in Troy and the surrounding areas when the weather is warm. So I mean, we went hiking in Vermont. I went to a hot air balloon festival. Took some day trips to Boston and went to some Red Sox games. We went whitewater rafting for free through the student union. They organized one of a whitewater rafting trip for us. So that was just a couple of the really neat things I got to do over the summer with a ton of my friends, which is really cool. So just a little bit about some of my future plans. So this summer, I am interning at a startup biotech company down here in Chapel Hill. So my position will be remote for now, but hopefully I'll be able to get into the lab as the summer progresses and Corona dies down a little bit. I'll be graduating in May, and then from there I'll be a full-time scientist, and I'm currently in the process of starting my med school application stuff, so that is very exciting. But I'll take a look in the chat box here and see if.
So hi guys, my name is Grace and I'm a student ambassador at Rensselaer. So I'm just going to talk about my experience at RPI, and you feel free to drop any questions in the chat as I go. I'll try to answer them along the way, and then I can take some more at the end. So just a little bit about me. I am from Hopewell Junction, New York, and I went to John Jay High School in East Fishkill. I'm currently a senior majoring in chemical engineering, and I'll be virtually graduating in about 3 weeks. A little fun fact about me, I'm captain of the RPI dance team, and I've been on it for 4 years now. Those pictures at the bottom you see there are just so you get to see me. I know you can't really have a visual right now, but that's my first day of freshman year and my first day of senior year. And as you can see, not much has changed except that I ditched the freshman lanyard on the left. So why did I choose RPI? First and foremost, it was the people. Before committing to RPI, I visited campus a few times for tours and accepted Students' Day, and all the students were so involved on campus, especially outside of class. It's not just the students that made RPI feel like home either. The faculty I met were also super invested in the students and all of their classes and the courses that they were teaching. And now that I've been on campus, I can say from experience that the environment is extremely supportive and not competitive. I know there was one night when I was trying to finish a homework for PChem in the union till 1 a.m. and I recognized another guy from my class working on the same assignment. So I walked up and I was like, hey, can you help me out on this? And then we worked together for another hour or so until we could both get it done. So I feel like that really demonstrates the supportive environment amongst the students here and the strong sense of community in the student body. On the picture in the snow that you see, those are the girls that I lived with freshman year in my freshman dorm building, and they're actually all the girls that I still live with now in my off-campus apartment senior year. So the second reason I chose RPI is the location. It's near home, and that picture is one of my family coming to see my senior halftime performance this past fall at one of the football games. RPI's campus is about an hour and a half north of home, so I get to visit often when I want to go see them. And I didn't really want to go too far away, and Troy was the perfect distance for me. And there's also a lot to do up here, and I spend a lot of time downtown going to the farmers market and the restaurants, specifically the Whistling Kettle. So if you're ever up in the area, I highly recommend it. And last but not least is the academics at RPI. The challenging coursework means there's never a dull moment here, but that being said, there's lots of great resources on campus, like tutoring sessions, office hours, and mentors to help with homework and studying. One of my favorite resources is ALAC, or the Advising and Learning Assistance Center, which has open tutoring sessions led by upperclassmen that did well in the course that they're assisting in. And they're really useful, especially when I took Organic Chemistry 1 and 2 during my sophomore year. I treated it like a class and attended probably every session that they offered there. And that bottom photo is just a picture from the International Cable and Connectivity Symposium that I attended with my research group last year in Rhode Island. I'll talk more about my research in a bit, but for now, I'll touch on my department. Oh, real quick before I get there, let's see. There's a question. Club founding and funding at RPI. It looks like Matthew has a question about club founding. I'm going to talk about clubs in a little bit, so I can probably talk more about it when I get there, and maybe I'll touch on some of the things that you had mentioned. But first, I'll get to my department. So chemical engineering, what exactly do chemical engineers do? They can take on a wide variety of roles in industry, but in general, chemical engineers design and improve chemical processes by applying principles of engineering, science, and mathematics. On that picture that you see there on the left is a screenshot of part of my senior capstone project. Most majors have some kind of culminating senior capstone experience, and for chemies, that's chemical process design. And in this course, we design a chemical process from start to finish which includes project proposals, process design, an economics phase, and a final feasibility report. It's group project based, which is made for quite an interesting online semester, but it's going well. We're almost done with our project, and it's been one of the best learning experiences that I've had at RPI. So moving right along to clubs and activities, and I'll try to touch on your question there in a second, Matthew. These are just some of the things that I'm involved in on campus. I'm an admissions ambassador, so I give tours up here. Like I said, I'm on the dance team. I'm also involved in Greek life and Order of Omega, which is the Greek Honor Society. I'm both a mentor and a mentee of the Women's Mentoring Program. I've also conducted both undergraduate and graduate research. And lastly, I participated as a physics undergraduate facilitator, or TA, during my sophomore year. So like I said, I'm pretty involved when I'm not in class or at the library. I'm usually at practice or doing events for some of the clubs that I'm involved in. The top right photo is a group picture of the student ambassadors that I work with in admissions. The bottom right corner is a picture of all the girls in my sorority together. And then the bottom left is my dance team after we placed at nationals last year. So Matthew, to answer your question, the process for founding a club, it's pretty simple. If there's a club that we don't have that you want to start, you kind of start a petition for it. You get some signatures of other people interested, and you can meet. You don't also necessarily need to get all those signatures and start a club. You could have a club that's not recognized by the union for funding if you just want to meet, and maybe you find a group of people that loves to play like a game together, like chess or checkers. You know, it doesn't necessarily need to go through the union. If you're a club that wants to apply for funding, then you would have to go through the whole budgeting process and go in front of the e-board. And then what budget size does RPI allow? That really depends on the club. Also, a lot of the sports clubs will get funding for different events that they're traveling to. Then there's some interest groups. There's a domino toppling club. So their budget would probably be a little bit smaller because their supplies isn't obviously as intense as some of the other clubs, but there's a wide range. So I'm sure if there's something that you're interested in, you can make it work with the union. So I hope that answers your question. Feel free to drop some more. My next topic will be about my research experience. So a lot of my time outside of class is also filled with research. I conducted undergraduate research in the Materials Research Center, and my project involved the heating of magnetic nanoparticles in an alternating magnetic field. And in the lab, I use an alternating magnetic field generator, a heating press to prepare my samples for further experimentation. The right two pictures are from the APS conference I attended with my research group in Boston. It was a really big expo, and it was a lot of fun to go meet people that are working in the industry. And then that picture on the left with me and 3 other girls in my sorority was from the undergraduate research symposium that's held every spring here on campus. So next is my internship experience. Off campus, I had the opportunity to intern at ASML in Wilton, Connecticut this past summer. ASML is in the semiconductor industry, and they produce the machines that make the chips that you use in phones and computers. And their main focus is the lithography step of the chip making process. I was part of the wafer alignment team, where I spent a lot of time investigating a single component in their DUV or deep ultraviolet system, and I wrote test plans for how to improve its performance and also extend its lifetime. It was a really good experience in the field, and I got to try so many new things. I even had the chance to suit up and go in the clean room, which is that picture you see on the right. Looks like I have another question here. Passed or tested for the physician scientist program this year. That's probably a question, yeah, for Greg. All right, so the last part of my presentation are just some fun things to do on campus. There's so much to do at RPI, and I'm so glad that I ended up here. I tried to put together a little collage of some of my favorite RPI memories. So those top pictures on the left are from the football game that we perform at. There's also a picture at a hockey game. The ones from downtown Troy are from trips to the farmers market and Riverfest, which is something that's held downtown during the summer. The Saratoga Performing Arts Center, or SPAC, which is that picture on top, is right nearby. So there's lots of concerts held there. I was able to see Halsey and Zach Brown Band recently there. At the bottom is Snowman's, and that's one of our favorite ice cream places in Troy. And it's also open right now, so it's keeping us going during quarantine. And then that embarrassing picture of me attending a comedy show on the top where I'm in the sweatshirt and the sunglasses was with the comedian from Mean Girls. If you don't recognize him, but I dressed up as his character for the picture. And then at the bottom, we have the spring concerts. I've seen Black Bear and AJR perform at RPI. We've also had the Chainsmokers. And although we didn't get to see them perform this year, we would have had Bryce Vine. And those last two pictures are from Dog Days of Finals, where we bring in therapy dogs during final season to kind of give students a break and relax and hang out with dogs. And also ISA formal, which is the Indian Student Association run formal that they have for students on campus. And I've enjoyed my time so much at RPI that I've decided to stay for another year. So like I said, I interned last summer. I'll be graduating this May, and then I'll be completing my master's through the co-terminal program at RPI. Moving forward, like Yulsi said, you don't necessarily need to do your master's in your undergraduate program. So I'll be returning to RPI to do my master's in mechanical engineering. And that's really it for me. Those are my plans. So my last piece of advice is that any school you choose will be the right choice for you. So don't put too much pressure on yourself to find the right school. You can really make any school your second home. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I can also put my email there if you have any questions about some specific things that I talked about. But if not, I can also turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Grace. I appreciate